Am I a future Harley-Davidson owner? My younger self would have said, nah. My more recent self would have said, maybe. And my current self says, yeah, I think so. What happened? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bike Like a Dog. I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe button before you leave today. I really would appreciate it. Today I'm talking about something that I literally thought would never be a topic for me, but something just clicked in my mind as my son and I were driving out to get on ADV Fest in South Dakota last July, and it's been growing. We were driving 10 or 12-hour days for 3 days to get from Atlanta to Sturgis. And man, that'll wear on you, I tell you. I don't care what you're driving or riding. As we drove, of course, we saw Harley-Davidson coming down the highway. We passed a whole host of Harley-Davidson dealerships as we drove up the interstate highways. And it began to occur to me that Harley has an incredible support system for touring around the United States on our interstate highways. Lots of dealerships with obviously everything you could need. And really, you never went more than, I don't know, maybe an hour between dealerships. It was pretty impressive. And I'm sure there were other dealerships on those exits for, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and so forth, because, dealers do have a tendency to kind of group together. But the Harley dealership is the one that had the huge sign visible from the highway. You didn't have to go searching in your GPS to find out where the Harley dealership was. It was slapping you in the face. I guess it was about halfway through the second day when we saw a Harley coming down the opposite direction. And I turned to my son and I said, I think I'm beginning to understand the attraction of a giant cruising bike. I knew there was no way I could possibly have been comfortable on my Ibex 450 riding those kinds of miles and those kinds of hours. I seriously questioned whether I'd be comfortable on even a larger mid-sized ADV bike. You pretty much have to be on the largest adventure bikes like the BMW R1300 GS or KTM Super Adventure 1290 Africa Twin or things like that to be able to crunch those kinds of miles with anything approaching comfort. And even then, are you ever really going to be as comfortable for so many hours as you would be on a street or road glide? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what those bikes were designed to do from the ground up. And suddenly, I had an incredible appreciation for those bikes and why they are the best at what they do. These were not motorcycles designed to ride small roads throughout Europe. They weren't designed for the crowded, potholed roads in India. They weren't designed to travel through on rough and dirt roads through Africa or Asia. These bad boys were designed to get on a paved highway, point it in a direction, and go. We jokingly call them rolling couches, right? But then again, I started thinking, gosh, I think that's more like what a car is. The fact that you can translate that type of experience to two wheels is actually pretty phenomenal. And I don't know anybody that does it better than Harley. I'm not saying there aren't some great bikes from other manufacturers like Indian or, Japanese brands like the Honda Goldwing and stuff. But the Cruiser for Honda is one model in their lineup, while Harley's Cruiser ancestry runs through every bike in their lineup. And I would say that for Harley, Anyone buying one of their smaller bikes is probably one day hoping to graduate to their big bikes. And that's not necessarily true of many of the other makes or or types of motorcycles. I mean, they just don't have the same mystique and brand loyalty that's part of the Harley culture. My son started on a Ninja 500, but when it's time to upgrade, yeah, it could be a ZX6R, but then again, it could also be a Gixxer or an R7 or maybe an Aprilia 660. Any of those has a decent shot. I don't really want to graduate from my Ibex 450 to an Ibex 800. I'd be more likely to go with something like a Touareg 660. We just don't have that same draw to the brand, right? We pick the bike, not the brand. But I rode a Harley Street 500 in my MSF course, and it still brings a smile to my face when I think of what that thing sounded like every time I fired it up. I can see myself getting a Harley. And I can see myself starting on something smaller than a Road Glide as my first Harley. But my direction, should I get one, would always be to move up to a Street Glide or a Road Glide eventually. I'd like to be able to take those big cross-country trips across America at speeds beyond what would be comfortable on my Ibex 450, and with the support web that Harley provides nationwide. Shocked? I am. I really thought there was never any circumstance where I would want that type of machine. But that trip taught me a newfound respect and understanding for what those bikes are about. As I sat in the comfort of our car, I thought about, yeah, I would want to be on a motorcycle that has just about that level of comfort. These things excel at what they're designed to do. And after all, isn't that all we ask of any motorcycle? I mean, I don't ask a Honda CRF 300L Rally to be a great bike for crossing the country on interstate highways. That's not what it was designed to do. But I'm not going to ask a Road Glide to excel at riding single track on alt-harder routes while doing a BDR. That would be ludicrous and pretty dangerous. Every motorcycle is designed for a purpose. Yeah, you got the nakeds and ADV bikes that kind of tend to be Swiss Army knives of motorcycling, but most everything else is designed for a fairly narrowly defined purpose. Now, there are legitimate highway challengers from individual bikes, such as the Goldwing, the FJR 1300 ES, Vulcan 1700 Voyager, the BMW R1300 GS, and others. Only Indian has the top-to-bottom cruiser focus, similar to Harley. But on America's highways, yeah, Harley-Davidson, undisputed king of the road. Just think, one day I might be a Harley rider. Who'd have thunk it? Then again, what I'm discovering is that I'm constantly rediscovering various facets of motorcycling. And I guess that is part of biking like a dog. Y'all take it easy, stay safe. We'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe before you leave. Bye, y'all.